What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. Actually, I needed to rewind 12 hours. The dinner had been Saturday night. Now, it was Sunday morning, and I was sitting in my car outside Commerce Bank, waiting for the doors to unlock at 9 a.m. My phone buzzed with another text from my mother. Mom, 8:43 a.m. Don't forget your sister needs that $8,000 by Tuesday. Her business opportunity won't wait. Family invests in family. I stared at the message and thought about last night's dinner. How Mom had called me useless in front of everyone. How my sister Chelsea had laughed while asking for another loan she'd never repay. How my father had just nodded along like my sole purpose in life was funding their dreams. The bank doors unlocked. I grabbed my folder, the thick one I'd been building for 6 months, and walked inside. Patricia Morrison, my bank manager, spotted me immediately. We'd scheduled this appointment 2 weeks ago, right after Mom had called me a failure for the 3rd time in a month. Sarah, Patricia said warmly, gesturing to her office. Right on time. Are you ready? I sat down and opened my folder. Inside were printouts of every transaction from the last 5 years. Every joint account ID opened at 8 because Mom said it would. Teach me financial responsibility. Every deposit from my paycheck. Every withdrawal they'd made. I'm ready, I said. Patricia pulled up the accounts on her screen. Let's review what we're looking at. Joint checking account ending in 4,429. You're listed as the primary account holder. Your mother is the secondary. Correct. Joint savings account ending in 7,751. Same structure. Yes. And the investment account ending in 2,893. Also joint, your primary. I nodded. My mother opened these accounts with me when I got my first engineering job. She said it would help me learn to manage money responsibly while contributing to family needs. Patricia's expression remained professionally neutral, but I'd worked with her long enough to see the flicker of understanding in her eyes. She'd seen this pattern before. And you want to restructure all 3 accounts today? I want to freeze the joint accounts and transfer my funds to new individual accounts that only I can access. That's well within your rights as the primary account holder. Patricia typed something. I need to inform you that any secondary account holders will lose access immediately. Any automatic payments or transfers they've set up will fail. Their debit cards will be declined. I understand. Sarah. Patricia stopped typing and looked at me directly. I have to ask. Are you absolutely certain? This will cause immediate disruption for your family members. I thought about the Excel spreadsheet on my laptop. The one I'd been maintaining obsessively for 6 months after I'd started noticing things. Mom's mortgage payment. $2,400 monthly. I'd been paying it for 3 years. Total. $86,400. Mom's car lease. $624 monthly for 2 years. Total. $14,976. Chelsea's business investments. 11 different ventures, none successful. Total. $43,200. Dad's credit card debt I'd paid off twice. $8,300. Various family emergencies. That were actually vacations, shopping sprees. And home renovations. $31,890. Grand total. $184,766. Money I'd earned. Money I'd deposited. Money they'd spent like it was theirs. I'm certain, I said. Patricia nodded and began typing. I'll process this immediately. All funds from the joint accounts will be transferred to your new individual accounts. I'll issue you new debit cards and account numbers. The joint accounts will be frozen as of, she checked her computer clock. 9:47 a.m. I watched her work, feeling strangely calm, no racing heart, no shaking hands. Just clarity. Done, Patricia said 15 minutes later. The joint accounts are frozen. Your new accounts are active. Here are your temporary cards. The permanent ones will arrive in 5 to 7 business days. She handed me a folder with all my new account information. Sarah, one more thing. When they contact the bank and what would you like us to tell them? The truth. That I'm the primary account holder and I've exercised my right to restructure my accounts. That all transactions were legal and documented. Would you like me to speak with them personally if they come in? Yes, please. Patricia wrote something on a sticky note and attached it to a file. I'll make sure I'm the one who handles any inquiries about these accounts. And Sarah, I know this isn't easy, but in my 20 years as a bank manager, I've never seen someone regret setting financial boundaries with family. I've only seen people regret not doing it sooner. I left the bank at 10:23 a.m. and drove to my office. My phone stayed silent for exactly 47 minutes. The first call came at 11:10 a.m. Chelsea, I let it ring. 11:18 a.m. Mom, I declined the call. 11:24 a.m. Chelsea again. 11:31 a.m. Dad, 11:45 a.m. A number I didn't recognize. Probably Chelsea calling from a friend's phone. By lunch, I had 14 missed calls. I silenced my phone and went to the cafeteria, where my coworker Brian immediately noticed something different. You look like you just won the lottery, he said. Better, I just got my life back. He didn't ask for details, just smiled knowingly. Brian had set boundaries with his own family 2 years ago. He understood. The texts started arriving in clusters. Chelsea, 12:47 p.m. Sarah, call me now. My card declined at lunch. This is embarrassing. Mom, 1:03 p.m. I don't know what you did, but the mortgage payment bounced. Call me immediately. This is serious. Dad, 1:15 p.m. Your mother is very upset. Whatever you've done, fix it now. Chelsea, 1:34 p.m. Are you kidding me right now? The bank said the account is frozen. What is wrong with you? Mom, 2:08 p.m. I called the bank. They said you froze everything, after everything we've done for you. You ungrateful child. I read each message once, felt nothing and went back to work. My phone buzzed 63 times by 5 p.m. when I left the office. At 5:47 p.m., my mother appeared at my apartment building. I watched her through the security camera as she pressed my buzzer repeatedly. I didn't answer. After 10 minutes, she left. That evening, I poured a glass of wine and finally read through all the messages systematically. Chelsea's messages evolved from confusion to anger to panic. Her card had declined at 3 different places. Her gym membership payment bounced. She tried to transfer money to cover her phone bill and discovered she had no access. Mom's messages shifted from demanding to accusatory. The mortgage company had called. Her car payment bounced. She'd gone to the bank and some woman named Patricia had showed her account documentation proving I owned everything. Dad's messages were shorter but angrier. I was being selfish. I was tearing the family apart. I'd always been difficult. At 8:15 p.m., my phone rang. I recognized the number. It was my mother's lawyer, Tom Hendricks. I'd known Tom since I was a kid. He'd handled my parents' estate planning, I answered. Sarah, it's Tom Hendricks. Your mother asked me to call you. Hi, Tom. She says you've frozen her bank accounts. Is that accurate? I've restructured joint accounts where I was the primary holder. She was a secondary account holder. That's within my legal rights. Silence. Then, Sarah, were you funding these accounts? Every deposit for the past 5 years came from my paycheck. I have documentation. More silence. And your mother was withdrawing funds? Extensively. I have transaction records, Tom sighed. Then you haven't done anything illegal. Joint accounts belong to the primary holder. But Sarah, this is your mother. Surely there's a way to... Tom, in the past 5 years, I've deposited $184,766 into those accounts. My family has spent all of it. I have detailed records. If my mother wants to dispute this legally, I'm prepared for that conversation. Another long silence. I'll speak with your mother. For what it's worth, Sarah, I'm sorry you're in this position. We hung up. I felt a tiny crack in my composure. Tom had always been kind to me, but it sealed over quickly. I'd made my decision. Day 2 brought 41 more calls and texts. Chelsea showed up at my office building, but security didn't let her pass the lobby. She called me from the lobby phone, crying, saying I was ruining her life. I didn't go downstairs. Mom left a voicemail that started with accusations and ended with something that sounded almost like begging. Sarah, please, I don't understand why you're doing this. We're family. Family helps each other. Just call me back and we'll figure this out. I deleted it. By day 3, the call volume dropped to 27. They were starting to realize I wasn't going to answer. On day 4, Patricia called me. Sarah, I wanted to update you. Your mother and sister came to the bank again this morning, together this time. What happened? I met with them personally. I showed them the complete transaction history. 5 years of deposits from your account, all made by you. 5 years of withdrawals made by them. I walked them through the account ownership documentation. I explained that joint accounts are a privilege extended by the primary account holder, not a right. How did they react? Your sister cried? Your mother insisted there must be some mistake, that the accounts were family money. I explained that no, they were your money that you'd been sharing. There's a difference. Did they threaten legal action? Your mother mentioned lawyers. I suggested she consult one if she wished, but I also explained that everything was documented and legal. She didn't seem eager to pursue it once I mentioned that discovery would reveal the full transaction history. Thank you, Patricia. One more thing. Your sister asked if there was any way to appeal to you or negotiate access. I told her that was between you and your family, but that from a banking perspective, the accounts were permanently restructured. She'd need to open her own accounts and fund them herself. After we hung up, I sat in my car in the parking garage and cried for the first time since freezing the accounts. Not from guilt, from relief, from the sheer exhaustion of carrying people who'd never once asked if I was tired. Week 2 brought a shift. The angry messages stopped. In their place came attempts at manipulation. Mom, day 9. Sarah, I've had time to think. Maybe we should talk. I miss you. Chelsea, day 11. Hey sis, I got a job interview. Maybe we can grab coffee and I can tell you about it? Miss talking to you. Dad, day 13. Your mother's birthday is coming up. It would mean a lot if you came to dinner. We can put all this behind us. I didn't respond to any of them. My Aunt Rachel called Mom's older sister. Unlike Tom, she didn't work for my parents. Sarah, it's Aunt Rachel. I heard about what happened. I braced myself for another guilt trip. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. I nearly dropped my phone. What? Honey, I've watched your mother lean on you since you graduated college. I've watched Chelsea drain you dry. I've bitten my tongue for years. Because it wasn't my place, but what you did. Setting that boundary? That took courage. Mom says I abandoned the family. Rachel laughed sharply. Your mother spent $184,000 of your money, and she's calling you the problem? Sarah, that's not family. That's exploitation with a holiday card attached. We talked for an hour. She told me stories I'd never heard about how Mom had been the same way with their parents, always expecting to be funded. About how Chelsea had learned entitlement from watching Mom operate. About how I'd been cast in the role of responsible one before I was old enough to refuse it. You're not the villain here, Rachel said before we hung up. You're just the first person who said no. 1 month after the freeze, my life had transformed in ways I hadn't expected. My savings account, $13,847, growing by $3,200 every month now that I wasn't funding other people's lives. My stress level, dramatically lower, no emergency calls, no guilt trips, no surprise family obligations that cost thousands. My phone, quiet. Mom called once a week now, leaving brief voicemails asking me to call back. Chelsea had stopped entirely. Dad sent occasional texts that I ignored. I'd started therapy with Dr. Kim Chun, who specialized in family financial abuse. Yes, that's what she called it. Financial abuse. You were the family ATM, Dr. Kim said during our 3rd session. They didn't see you as a person with your own needs. They saw you as a resource to be extracted. But they're my family. Family doesn't mean unlimited access to your bank account. Family doesn't mean you're obligated to fund their choices. Real family respects boundaries. I'd also joined a support group for adult children of financially manipulative parents. Hearing other people's stories so similar to mine they could have been copied made me realize how common this pattern was, and how rare it was for someone to break free. 6 weeks after the freeze, Chelsea texted, I got the job. I'm paying my own rent now. It's hard, but I'm doing it. I'm not asking for anything. Just wanted you to know. I read it 3 times, looking for the angle. Found none. Didn't respond anyway. She could do hard things on her own. She didn't need my validation. 2 months after the freeze, Mom sent a different kind of message. Your father and I have adjusted our budget. We're managing. I still don't understand why you did this, but we're making it work. I hope you're happy. That last line, I hope you're happy, was supposed to be a barb, a guilt trip. But when I read it, I realized something. I was happy. I'd booked a vacation to Iceland, something I'd wanted to do for years but could never afford because there was always a family emergency. I'd upgraded my ancient laptop. I'd started taking a painting class on Tuesday evenings because it sounded fun and I could actually afford hobbies now. My apartment felt lighter. My phone didn't fill me with dread. My bank account was mine. 3 months after the freeze, I went to coffee with Aunt Rachel. She brought photos of her recent trip to Portugal. Your mother asked me to talk to you, Rachel said, sliding the photos across the table. She wants to know if you'll come to Thanksgiving. What did you tell her? I told her that was your decision and I wouldn't pressure you either way. She sipped her latte. But I'll tell you what I think. I think you should do whatever protects your peace. If that means going to Thanksgiving, fine. If that means spending it alone with Chinese takeout and Netflix, also fine. You don't owe them your presence just because they're blood. Do you think they've changed? Rachel considered this carefully. I think they've adjusted to their new reality. Whether they've actually reflected on their behavior? I don't know. That's not your responsibility to figure out. I spent Thanksgiving alone. Ordered Thai food, watched 3 movies, went to bed at 10 p.m. feeling completely content. My phone stayed silent all day. No guilt trips. No family needs you messages. Just peaceful, blessed silence. 4 months after the freeze, I checked my savings account balance. $26,193, all mine, growing steadily. I was on track to fully fund my retirement accounts this year for the first time ever. I'd also started dating someone I met at the painting class.
His name was Marcus.
And when I told him my family situation on our 3rd date testing to see if he'd think I was cruel, he'd said, "Sounds like you set a healthy boundary." Good for you. No judgment. No demands that I reconcile because they're family. Just acceptance that I'd done what I needed to do. 5 months after the freeze, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Chelsea. Sarah, I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know I've been in therapy. My therapist helped me understand how much I took from you. How much I expected without ever asking if you were okay. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to respond to this, but I needed to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not sorry that the money stopped, but sorry that I never saw you as a person. Just as someone who was supposed to fix my problems. I'm working 2 jobs now. I'm paying off my credit cards. I'm learning what it means to actually support myself. It's hard. It's really hard. But I think maybe that's the point. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're happy. You deserve to be. Chelsea, I read the letter 5 times, cried a little, put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd respond, maybe not. But for the first time, I felt like my sister might actually understand what she'd done. I didn't owe her forgiveness, but I could acknowledge her effort to change. 6 months after the freeze, I sat in Patricia's office reviewing my financial progress. Your savings rate is exceptional, Patricia said, pulling up charts. At this pace, you'll have a 6-month emergency fund by next quarter. You're maxing out your retirement contributions. You've even started investing in index funds. I couldn't have done any of this while funding 3 other people's lives. No, you couldn't have. Sarah, do you ever regret your decision? I thought about it honestly. No, sometimes I feel sad about how things ended up. Sometimes I miss having a relationship with my family, but regret? No, I regret the years I spent being their TM. I don't regret stopping. My phone stayed mostly quiet now. Mom called on my birthday. I didn't answer, but she left a brief voicemail wishing me well. Chelsea sent a text every few weeks updating me on her progress. Dad didn't contact me at all. The extended family had mostly sided with Mom, as expected. But Aunt Rachel remained in my corner, and a few cousins had quietly reached out to say they understood. I didn't need their approval anymore. I had something better, my own life, my own choices, my own peace. 7 months after freezing the accounts, I sat in my apartment on a Saturday morning, drinking coffee and reading. My phone didn't ring. Nobody needed emergency money. Nobody was having a crisis I was expected to solve. Outside my window, the city was waking up. Inside my apartment, everything was quiet. It sounded like freedom. And I'd never give it back.